Daughters.
Okay, it is 7 o'clock, Thursday, February 12th, 2026. We have had the meeting of the DRB North Hero. We've had an issue with the audio, with taping of the agenda so far. So I'm going to give a quick overview of what has occurred so far, and Danielle will write extremely detailed minutes so that it should make up for anything that was missed in the audio. We had one hearing, major subdivision, Jeffrey and Ruth Anderson. The application number 2026-1 DRB, 4300 Butler Island West. Jeff Sikora was here representing the applicants. We had two interested parties, Bob Kane and Michael Werner. It was a sketch plan review. At the end of the hearing, the board voted to proceed right through preliminary to final. So we consider this a final plan review. The hearing was closed at 6:45. Under business of the board, we approved the minutes of January 15th.
With one minor correction.
With one minor correction. Danielle gave a ZA report. Delcy is under procedures, is going to be working with Danielle on decision process wording. And then we're going to send out an updated procedures to everyone on the board. David is going to get stuff together for regulation updates. I asked that we include a discussion on setback waiver for use, because right now we only have the regulations only consider setback waivers for structures, not use. Board reorganization. Delcy has agreed to stay on as vice chair, or to stand for voting in April. The DRB will vote on DRB leadership, but she will stand for re-election. She would like not to do chair hearings, so David, as our secretary, we've asked him to step in if I'm not available to chair hearings, and he has graciously agreed to that. And that's it. We are going into deliberative session now at 7:04. So we are out of deliberations at 7:16 p.m. We're going to go back under and discuss something under procedures. Delcy, do you want to lead this on conversation?
Well, there have been discussions. Okay, there have been discussions in the past, or trying to establish the requirements for permits, like wetlands permits or septic permits, wastewater permits. And so we would like to have a discussion on the board to clarify, and so that we can be consistent and clearly define what the requirements are for people coming forward with a request for a building permit. Does that cover it, Diana?
Yep. Anybody have strong feelings one way or the other?
Well, I strongly support that we have a procedure so that we approach it consistently. I think that that it makes sense for us to require these, because if we don't require them, there's no process that the town has to know that they need to be put in place after we approve an application.
That they have in fact.
Yeah, that
Gotten them.
in fact completed it.
The only comment I'll make is that I believe that we have had applicants come before us who don't want to put money into permits if they don't know that they're going to be approved.
Yeah.
Right, that's true.
I think about that as well, and I'm a little confused because what Delcy said was permits, which we aren't involved with, right? It would be,
We can, only in that we can require that they are obtained.
building permits, right?
No, any of the state permits that are required,
Yeah.
we have put it in as a condition in the past.
But I'm going to say I don't think that's necessary because that can be handled, it should be handled by the zoning administrator when they go for a permit, right? They can't get a permit unless they've gone through those other state permits.
Correct.
So I don't think we should be involved.
So when they come to you, Danielle, do you make sure that they have the permits in place?
Mhm.
So Danielle already does that, as Charlie suggested.
Right. So I don't think we should duplicate. It's not
Yeah, and for like a
not our
septic-
purview. It's not our purview.
Yeah, for a septic permit, someone has to, when they get a septic permit, they're also supposed to get a certification of proper installation from the septic designer after the fact. And that is usually on file with the town. I noticed that ours wasn't from ours, and so I had to call our designer and have him get a copy. But a lot of people don't know they're supposed to do that, so maybe saying, Danielle, you saying, yeah, okay, you have a wastewater permit. When it is installed, you need to have your designer sign off on it, because that is one of the rules for septic.
Okay,
And
I
I've
don't,
run into a number of houses that I've sold that they didn't
Yeah.
get that
Is that
and
a
they had to
state
go back.
requirement?
I don't do
Yeah.
that because I assume it's a state requirement
Yeah.
and they're the authority having jurisdiction. So I just
You're-
assume
that's true.
as long as they've gone through the state permitting process, they know what the requirements are and they're just showing me proof that they did so. That's basically what I asked for, proof that they have their permit or that they have some kind of correspondence that they can show me that wastewater told them no permits required.
Okay. So that's kind of, like Andrea says to me, I'm almost always thinking in terms of a real estate buyer. And in a way I am, but if someone goes to close on a house and they don't have that certificate saying that it was properly installed, then that's an issue and you have to go back and get that permit.
Isn't there a final inspection by the ZA? I mean, when I built my house, there was, and so.
So there is a final inspection, but they don't, like, the ZA wouldn't know to look that they have 12 feet of, trench and, that's 16
No,
inches
but-
deep.
No, but
But-
she would be able to look at, whether it was signed off. And
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm bringing up. It would be good to say, you need to make sure you file the certificate of approval from the designer and file it with the town, because it should be on file in the town records.
I guess I could do that. My inspection just entails making sure that they are built to spec and they're within their footprint and, setbacks and things like that. I don't go inside. I don't look for,
No.
I have them give me the Arby's certificate, but I don't go and look and see if it's posted or anything like that.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so maybe we don't need to do that and people have to be responsible for themselves, but as long as you see that the permit is issued, then it should be the state's job to ensure that they
Right,
get that.
it's their
certification,
jurisdiction,
but
yeah.
I know it's been missed a lot of times. Cause they missed ours from 2010.
So Delcy, where are you coming down on requiring or not requiring state permits ahead of time?
If we are clear that we do not allow a building permit until all required permits are submitted to the ZA. The only thing that might be worthwhile is for the ZA to have some kind of a record that that there's I can see, and this is not on the ZA. I'm talking about this being on the town as a whole. That we never knew, for example, that a condominium was dissolved back a few years ago because there's no record written in anywhere that said they dissolved they dissolved it and created an issue. So in terms of permits or whatever, that when the ZA issues, I guess, I'm now channeling Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. When the ZA issues the permit, that is the record. So never mind. I just walked myself full circle from saying we need to have something that says, yes, that they've done it. And the ZA issuing the permit is saying, yes, that they've done it. So never mind.
Yeah,
Well, and I do want to mention, Delcy, that that's part of the documentation that I include with the permit when it gets filed in the zoning files. So
Okay, so it's
a
there.
copy of the wastewater permit or the correspondence saying.
So
you know,
Danielle, would you recommend that this is not necessary? That you have this covered with your processes?
I can see that it could be something that you could cut out since I do require it.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
that's
Why,
exactly.
why don't we put in procedures then
That
that the
zoning-
board does not require state permits before a hearing, but the applicant needs to know that they
In order
need,
to get a.
in order to get a permit, they are going to need to get the state permit, and that will, and most likely be in our, and I think it's always, right? It's standard
Yeah,
that in the decision making.
Oh, yeah.
that's
Every time.
really
So
good.
why don't we put that in writing, that it will be,
Get it off our plates.
Yeah.
And
is that okay,
Yeah,
David?
I think
You're
that-
okay with that?
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely. My understanding is that we didn't have an internal process to cover it.
and now,
So understanding this makes all the difference, yeah.
uh,
can you write something up, Delcy, that, and throw it?
How about we do it just in a very straightforward, a building permit will not be issued by the ZA until all state permitting requirements are met.
But you also, what we want in the procedures is we want it in writing that state permits are not required before coming before the DRB,
Right.
but they will be required if the application is approved by the DRB, state permits will be required before the ZA will sign off.
mhm.
And that way we can have consistency. I do want to just remind everyone that if there's like a weird exceptional situation, we would still have the legal right to require that if there was a reason why we needed to.
What do you mean?
I mean, I can't imagine right now what a weird exceptional situation might be. But
Well,
if
we
we,
could say, we need your wastewater permit
but
before.
we still have the right to do that according to the lawyer. Right?
Okay.
So I
Because
mean, what we've been trying to do is establish consistency,
Right,
right?
right,
And
right.
so what we're saying here is we consistently don't need to require the permits for a DRB decision because we've got them covered by
Yeah.
the ZA. But if we had some weird exceptional situation that we can't even imagine right now,
Yeah,
we would still have the legal right to
So do
require
you
it.
want the procedures to say even though
I think we should say just
even
that,
though
like,
we are not legally required one way or the other, as a procedure, we will not, we normally would not. Do you want to put normally? in
normally,
there?
that's
What?
exactly, normally would not.
Okay,
Normally would not what?
Be required.
require
Require,
state permits before the hearing, before the applicant comes before the
Okay.
hearing.
or typically, or.
Are you okay with that, Charlie?
I don't know that you'll know that it's an exception until you have a hearing. So
I think that's exactly my point. I'm just saying, I would prefer for us to reserve the right.
but you could say before an approval.
Before ZA approval.
Oh, right.
No, before DR approval.
Yeah, before DRB approval. Yeah.
Because you won't know before
Before the hearing.
that you have an exception.
Yeah,
Yeah,
under extenuating circumstances.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I'm caught in this a little bit. If we said when a DRB application is approved, or when an application is approved by the DRB, couldn't we just not approve an application if we want the state permit beforehand? I know I'm talking myself in circles again.
I don't know. That's a good point, Delcy. We just don't approve it. I think what we're trying to do is establish
But
a
on what basis?
consistent rule.
Yeah, but
On
we're
what
already,
basis? If you, are you going to not approve? On what basis? When your procedure says you don't need it, and then you're going to,
and,
Oh, yeah.
and the state says we
Okay.
don't need.
Well, the state doesn't say.
Well, they're wishy-washy on
Yeah,
it.
exactly, right, yeah.
yeah, and that's the problem.
I think procedurally, we should,
you could say under normal circumstances, building state permits will not be required for approval by the DR.
and then if we needed to make a decision that had an exceptional circumstance, we'd make the exceptional circumstance
Right.
as the reason.
Yeah, we can put that into our procedures. Because that's what we're talking about here. So
Yeah.
under normal circumstances, good, Charlie.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Let's make it official. Let's vote on this, this addition to the procedures. All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
I,
Okay, unanimous.
There was no motion, does that matter?
oh, Delcy, make your motion?
No. I've been writing around in circles, just like I've been talking in circles. So I have something to the effect of, under normal circumstances,
State permits, right?
so what I
State
wrote
permits.
was, aren't required except under exceptional weirdness.
oh, here, I finally got,
Except under extenuating circumstances. Why don't we put it, say
Yeah,
it
that's
that way?
what I put. The DRB may require a permit, yeah.
Of course, that leaves a wide door open, but still, at least we know.
But we've
I think
established,
demonstrating that we have an out, because
Yeah.
we do have an out, nobody knows we have an
Yeah.
out.
and we've also established a norm,
Yeah,
Yeah,
right? And
Yeah.
that way we also don't have to keep kicking that around every
Yeah.
time it comes up.
Yeah.
right,
yep,
right,
I think that's great.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so with
how
that,
about if I write this up and send it around to everybody, and we're going to have the discussion next time updated and et cetera. Just to make sure that we've got everything in.
yeah,
but acknowledge that the board did approve it 5-0 tonight,
Right.
because as we know, we don't want it to go on
mhm.
and on. Okay, any motion for, if there's nothing else, we can motion to
Go home.
adjourn.
Wow. Okay, I move to,
I move we go home.
Yeah.
I think we should talk for another hour and a half.
I know Ronnie's gonna be upset.
I know.
What, you're done?
I could have put off dinner.
I was gonna say, you just don't wanna end up getting stuck with the dishes, probably.
Okay, so Charlie is not seconding. Do we have a second?
I second.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Christine will be upset because she's always complained about how late she even made that
I know,
comment about how late we stayed.
we have a neighbor that came
So-
down and he goes, well, why don't you come over after
7:30,
your meeting? And I said, it might be 10 o'clock, I'll have to go to bed.